The real reason long-term thinkers thrive in unstable times isn't because they're smarter. It's because they're playing a completely different game. And that's what this title is really about: why long-term thinkers thrive in unstable times. Most people hear that and think, oh, so this is about how to get rich in a crisis. No, this is about how not to be fooled when the world starts shaking. Because when things get unstable, people don't just lose money, they lose their sense of direction. They lose their ability to tell signal from noise. They get played by headlines, by incentives, by their own fear. Long-term thinkers still feel the fear, but they don't let it drive the car. Let me show you what I mean. Picture two people in the same company, same floor, same open office. Let's call them Mark and Daniel. It's the start of a recession. Budgets are cut, headlines are read, everyone's whispering about layoffs over coffee. Mark spends his days reading every article, every rumor. He has 3 tabs of live stock prices open. He keeps asking people, have you heard anything? Do you think they'll cut our team? He's not working less, he's just working from fear. Every task now has a new filter in his head. Will this make me look safe this quarter? Not, is this meaningful? Not, does this build something that still matters in 5 years? Just, does this make me look like someone they shouldn't fire? Daniel is scared too. He's not a robot. He feels that same knot in his stomach every time HR sends a company-wide email. But he quietly asks himself a different set of questions. If this downturn lasts 5 years, what kind of person do I want to be on the other side? If this company vanished tomorrow, what would I still have that no one can take? And then he works from that. He spends a little less time refreshing news. He invests more time in becoming the kind of person who is useful in almost any future. Deep skills, clear thinking, strong relationships, a track record of calm in chaos. Same environment, same fear, different time horizon. That's why long-term thinkers thrive in unstable times, not because the storm doesn't hit them, but because they've quietly built a different kind of boat. Here's the problem. We live in a world designed to keep your attention welded to the short term. Quarterly earnings, monthly KPIs, daily active users, 24-hour news cycles, stories that live and die in a weekend. You are surrounded by systems that profit from your panic. If you're only thinking in days or weeks or this quarter, you become easy to move. Scared people are easy to sell to. Impatient people are easy to manipulate. Confused people are easy to steer. Long-term thinkers are dangerous in that sense. They're harder to fool. When the market crashes, they don't immediately assume, this is the end. They ask, what game is actually being played here? Who benefits from this narrative? What does this look like over 10 years, not 10 days? That doesn't mean they magically predict everything. It means they refuse to let today's noise define their identity. That's the quiet superpower. Let me give you a different angle. Not corporate, not financial, just human. Think about your own life for a second. How many decisions have you made that were basically, I just want this feeling to stop right now? You stay in a bad job because searching is scary in the short term. You stay in a bad relationship because leaving is messy in the short term. You agree to things you hate because saying no is awkward in the short term. Unstable times amplify that. Your brain becomes obsessed with immediate relief. Tell me the one skill to learn. Tell me where to move my money. Tell me the trick to protect myself. And if you're not careful, that's when you get played. Because unstable times are a perfect playground for people who sell certainty. They will give you a story, a product, a narrative that says, do this one thing and you'll be safe. Long-term thinkers don't bite so easily. They ask, if I follow this path for 10 years, who do I become? If I make decisions from fear for 10 years, what kind of life does that build? If I outsource my thinking every time I'm scared, what happens to my mind? They zoom out. That zoom out is where wisdom lives.
Now, I'm not romanticizing long-term thinking. It's not glamorous. It doesn't look impressive on social media. In fact, in good times, long-term thinkers often look wrong. They hold extra cash just in case, while everyone else is maximizing returns. They keep investing in boring fundamentals when everyone else is chasing the hot new thing. They keep learning the hard skills that age well instead of optimizing for whatever's trending this month. They look too conservative, too slow, too cautious. And then instability hits. Suddenly, the people who took every shortcut are overexposed. The companies that optimized every last cent of efficiency have no buffer. The teams that only knew how to win in growth mode fall apart under pressure. This is the part nobody likes hearing. By the time unstable times arrive, it's already too late to become a long-term thinker overnight. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your habits. And long-term thinking is a habit, a way of relating to the world. You can see it in small things, whether you take time to sleep or treat rest as a weakness, whether you build relationships even when you don't need anything, whether you tell the truth when a small lie would benefit you today but cost you trust later. Every one of those choices is like pouring a tiny bit of concrete into your future foundation. In stable times, it doesn't seem to matter. In unstable times, it suddenly matters a lot. So how do you actually live this without turning into some abstract think like a billionaire cliché? Start simple. First, stretch your questions. Instead of, how do I survive this quarter? Try also, if the next 5 years are messy and uncertain, what kind of person do I need to become? Instead of, what's the fastest way out of this discomfort? Try also, what's the decision that future me will quietly thank me for? Sometimes that will still be a short-term move. Sometimes the right play in chaos is very local. Pay the bill, get out of danger, find immediate safety. But you anchor it to a longer arc. You're not just escaping a feeling, you're building a life. Second, study incentives. In unstable times, always ask, who benefits if I panic? Who benefits if I feel rushed? Who benefits if I don't think deeply? Because once you see the incentives, a lot of urgent narratives lose their magic. Third, build resilience in layers, not theatrics. Long-term thinkers don't rely on one big bet. They create multiple lines of defense, a bit of financial buffer, a bit of emotional regulation, a bit of diversified skill, a bit of community, people who know you and trust you. Individually, each layer looks unimpressive. Together, they create a kind of quiet strength. So when instability comes, they might still feel anxious, but they're not instantly in free fall. That space between impact and collapse is where good decisions live. Here's something most people won't tell you. Long-term thinking is not primarily about the future. It's about who you are in the present. Because to think long-term, you have to be willing to disappoint your present self. You have to say no to some status, some comfort, some illusion of safety today for a payoff you can't yet prove. You have to be okay with looking behind while quietly building something others can't see. And that's not easy. That requires a certain faith, not blind optimism, not fantasy, but a grounded belief that choosing integrity, patience, and depth actually matters in the long run.
If you sell your long-term for short-term comfort every time you're scared, eventually you have nothing left to trade. So when you read the title, Why Long-Term Thinkers Thrive in Unstable Times, don't hear, be more like the winners. Hear this instead. Unstable times expose what was already true. They reveal who has been quietly playing a longer game. They reveal who built resilience when it was boring. They reveal who refused to let fear set their time horizon. You don't control the instability. You don't control the timing of recessions, layoffs, pandemics, geopolitical shocks. But you do control the game you choose to play. You can stay locked into the next notification, the next month, the next crisis. Or you can start training a different muscle. The muscle that asks better questions. The muscle that zooms out when everything screams zoom in. The muscle that says, I will not be easily fooled. Not by hype, not by fear, not by the illusion that only the immediate moment is real. Long-term thinking is not a trick for beating the system. It's a way of not being swallowed by it. And if you start small, one better question, one longer view, one choice that honors your future self, you're already playing a different game than most people in the room. If this sharpened how you think, not what you think, this channel is for you. We focus on understanding reality, not selling excitement. Peace be with you.